Hello, class. Thank you for joining me for our week 2 session of Internet Marketing Fundamentals. This week we will be discussing internet marketing specifically. I know last week we spent time just refreshing our basic marketing knowledge, but this week we're actually going to dive into internet marketing. And we will actually spend a little bit of time on search engine marketing strategy. And I'll explain that in just a second. But first, I'd like to talk a little bit about this week's discussion. As you know, the original discussion is due on Wednesday by 11:59, and then you are expected to reply to 2 of your peers by Sunday at Sunday at 11:59, and you also need to respond to my follow-up question, or any course director's follow-up question. Never forget to respond to the follow-up question, which in my case will be posted. If I have a follow-up question, it's always going to be posted on Thursday. Now, the question this week is regarding retargeting. Retargeting is something that I'm sure you have experienced if you've been on the internet at all. You just didn't know what it was. Most of you will say, oh, right, that's what that's all about. There's an actual strategy, and it works very well for some. So I want to hear your feedback. I want to know the pros, the cons, and I want to know about your personal experiences and your personal feelings about retargeting. I do provide an article for you to read that will help you, but there are a lot of other articles out there on the web if you're not satisfied with that one. Do cite all sources that you use for this purpose. Please remember to proof your work well before submitting, because spelling, grammar, and punctuation counts. Now, this week's assignment is a little bit different from last week. Last week we had a paper to do. This week it's a presentation. It's actually a Keynote presentation, and that's very important that you use Keynote. Don't use PowerPoint, use Keynote. The reason that I require you to use Keynote is that I did realize that some of the other course directors in your advanced courses require Keynote. So the best time to learn it, if you're not familiar with it, is now, because everything picks up in those advanced courses and you don't have a lot of time to learn something new. So I want you to learn it now. I will not grade you on the quality of your presentation, because I know some of you have experience with Keynote, some of you have design backgrounds. You will probably do a better job. Yours might look a little bit more professional, but that's okay, because that's not what I'm grading. The topic is click fraud. And what I'm looking for, I'm going to be looking at the content. You do have to have video and audio narration as well. That's extremely important. Make sure that both work. And if you need help with Keynote presentation, with using Keynote, you need to, there's a video, a lynda.com video that you can watch. You can go to FSO Connect, click on organizations, and find lynda.com. There are a wealth of videos out there that you can watch, tutorial videos, one of which is Keynote. And you can also get support with Keynote from FSO. If you do not have Keynote on your computer, then you need to contact FSO immediately, because it should be there. If it isn't, if that's a problem, do let me know so that I can accommodate you as far as if I need to offer an extension until you get it. But you should have it on your computer at this time. With the Keynote presentation, it should be what I want you to look for. I want you to first educate your audience about click fraud. Click fraud is extremely important, especially with what we do as internet marketers. So you really want to know all about it. I'm not going to tell you much about it, because there's a wealth of information out there, and I really want you to get comfortable doing your own research online. But please cite all sources. And with this presentation, I do expect you to include your final slide should be a reference slide. In APA format, you should have your references listed. Any sources that you use for any of the information that you share with me in this presentation should be contained in your reference slide. I want you to educate your audience. What is click fraud? Why is it important? And then I want you to tell us what we can do, your audience. What can we do ourselves in-house? What are some practices that we can adopt that will help us to prevent click fraud from happening to our company. And then what are some other things that we can do, some external things that we can do? Are there outsourced options? Are there software options or web-based options? Give us some solutions, at least one solution that we can take advantage of as far as preventing click fraud for our organization. It should last 5 to 10 minutes. I am not strict about the length of it simply because, as I said, this software application is new to some of you, so I don't want to burden you with having to stay within the time frame too strictly. But I do think to stay within 5 to 10 should be easy for you. And do keep in mind, though, in some of your advanced classes, you have a very strict time limit, and you need to adhere to that. But for now, I'm a little bit more flexible. Do visit Presentation Zen. I did give you a link to that site. It's a very nice site, and it gives you a lot of really good tips about creating a presentation. And it's something that if you learn now, you can apply these techniques as you progress through the program, and you can improve your presentation skills as you learn. Okay, if you have any questions about this presentation, do give me a call, or shoot me a message. I will be sure to get back with you. Do keep in mind that for submitting this, you have a few options. You can just submit with Keynote, it's required that you convert it to a QuickTime movie. The reason I need you to do that, and it's very simple, there's an option there, convert to QuickTime, it's really simple. But the reason I need you to do that is because my Keynote software may not be compatible with your Keynote because you have a newer computer, a newer version, and it gets a little complicated. So it works best for everyone involved if you convert yours to a Keynote, to a QuickTime movie, and I can watch it without a problem. Also, what you can do is you can upload your presentation to YouTube, and if you do that, then instead of submitting the presentation itself, you would submit a Word document with the link, and then I can just click on the link and go to your YouTube video or any other video source that you would like. As long as it's just simple for me, I click and I'm there. Please make sure you don't leave it on private. It should be public, or if it's private, make sure you give me the password so I can actually watch your movie. So I give you some flexibility there. As I said, do understand that you are required to use Keynote in this course for this project simply because you will have to use it in upcoming classes, and now is a good time for you to learn it. Okay, now we can talk about internet marketing. As I said last week, it was marketing. And we talked about marketing. Well, first of all, internet marketing. What is internet marketing? I know some of you may think it's just something called SEO, because you hear these acronyms, SEM, SEO. It's affiliate marketing, it's pay-per-click advertising. It's a lot of things. It's all of those things. But those are just strategies. And we're going to talk about that, and I'm going to help you to understand that. But basically, internet marketing is, and I have this definition that I got from Techopedia, it just says a set of powerful tools and methodologies used for promoting products and services through the internet. And that's what we're doing. We're using digital technology to promote our business. And basically, if you go back to marketing, the basic marketing concepts, the 4 P's of marketing: product, price, place, and promotion, what we're focusing on is the promotion. It's important that you understand the other aspects of marketing, but for our purposes, we're looking at only promotion because we want to know how to use digital technology to promote our product. Now, digital marketing or internet marketing has one goal. One simple goal that you need to understand. You want to connect our organizations with qualified potential customers. That's simple. Connecting with the potential customers. And we want qualified potential customers. That's the beauty of the internet, is because it does allow us to get qualified potential customers. And within that goal, we have 2 objectives. One, we want to drive traffic to the site because we have to get them to come to the site. And so we have a lot of strategy that we're going to be talking about in this class that will drive traffic to our site. But we also want them to take an action once they get there. So conversions, we want them to convert, whether it means clicking on something, maybe it means completing a form, maybe it means purchasing something, whatever that conversion goal is that we set, we want them to do it when they get to the site. We don't want them to just go to the site, or maybe we just want them to engage in the site. Depends on what our goals are, what our objectives are. But we need to, we will set conversion goals, and then we need to, once they get there, we need to get them to take that action. So those are the two objectives that we have. Now, other classes will spend a lot of time on conversion, especially the Advanced Internet Marketing Strategies class. You'll talk about conversion goals. But driving traffic to the site is what we're going to emphasize a little bit more in this class. How do we drive traffic to the site? And we're going to talk about different strategies for doing that, using different media. For example, some of the digital media that we can use for digital marketing can include computers, tablets. Tablets, believe it or not, not tablets. Well, tablets, smartphones, cell phones, game consoles are some of the media channels, but collectively, mobile media is becoming far more prevalent. So for advertising and effective. So we're going to spend a little time talking about mobile advertising using those mobile devices that we just mentioned. Some of the digital marketing platforms that we use, because we have those media channels, media channels, but we also have a number of platforms that we use on those devices. So it might include your search engine results page. When you search for something on Google, you get a results page. That's what we're going to talk about tonight, how to use that, strategy surrounding that. But this social media strategy that might include Facebook or Twitter, YouTube, content strategy. You have YouTube. We have website strategy. But we have the website is a platform for advertising. Email is a platform for advertising. So there's so many platforms available to us. But when we combine those different mediums with the different platforms, we come up with strategy for driving traffic to the site combining the two. And as I said, we have search engine marketing strategy, affiliate marketing, content marketing, email marketing, mobile marketing, social media. Even on our public relations is a strategy for driving traffic these days. So I want you to, this week, I'd like to talk to you about search engine marketing. We're just going to focus on search engine marketing because that's huge. And then next week, we'll talk about some of the other strategies that are available to you. So for search engine marketing, and I'm sure you've heard this, and maybe some of you are familiar, some of you are not, but search engine marketing consists of search engine optimization, SEO, that's where that acronym comes from, and paid search advertising. SEO, or search engine optimization, is free. It's a natural way to get your site ranked on the search engine results page. You don't have to pay for it. There are on-site strategies and there are off-site strategies. So we're going to talk about that a little bit tonight. Search engine marketing is what it's called, the umbrella, with both the paid and the unpaid. Now, the definition here, promoting websites by increasing their ranking on the search engine results page. That's basically what search engine marketing is all about. And give me just a second. I'm going to pull up a page, so we can look at it. And we can see, I can show you what I'm talking about. Let's look at, I'm just going to put a generic term in here just so you can see the paid ads. Shoes, just shoes, just shoes, period. That's a very generic term. Usually it's more effective to use niche phrases. Keyword phrases. We're going to do that in just a second. But I just wanted to show you. If I put shoes in, you'll see ads at the top. Shoes at Zappos.com. That's an ad. That's paid for. Down the right-hand side, you see ads all the way down. Shoe shop, Aldo shoes, fashion shoes up to 70%. All of these are ads, paid ads right down the side. But beneath that, we have the natural or organic listing. This is what SEO is all about. This didn't cost. Shoes.com didn't pay one dime. Well, they probably paid for a strategist, an SEO strategist, to get them ranked up there. But you didn't have to pay Google. You didn't have to pay to be on this page. Now, if you look, I'm going to make it a little more specific. Now, we're going to say running shoes Orlando. So we call these long tail phrases. Running shoes Orlando. Now, when I put running shoes Orlando, that's very niche oriented and it's local. And the thing about local is another little free tool here that I'd like to share with you. Track Shack and Fleet Feet Sports did two things. They they listed, got their sites listed in the Google and Bing directories, so you get listed in the local directories, and they got reviews, and because of that, they are now listed at the top of this page. If there were some paid ads, they would be above it, but they're listed right here in a very prominent area. They didn't have to pay for this, and they're also on the back. Look at that, with information. So all that's free. So make sure your company gets listed in the local directories, and you get reviews, and you make sure that they are a part of that listing. Now, let's move on. That's the paid. We'll talk about the paid. Excuse me, that's not the paid. That's the strategy behind Google getting listed on the map, and that's free. But we're going to talk about paid advertising in just a second. But right now, I really want to focus on the organic or natural results, the ones you don't pay for. And if you can see, Track Shack not only is listed up there with the map, they're also listed right here, the #1 ranking for the search engine results page. And as a search engine results, I put in Running Shoes Orlando. That was my keyword phrase, Running Shoes Orlando, and boom, Track Shack came up as #1. Why is that? That is because Track Shack has optimized their site for those keywords. I say that, I need to back up just a minute and explain how search engines work so you understand what I mean by optimizing the site. Back in the day, back when I was, back in the late 90s, around 1998, I worked for a newspaper. It was a daily press. And, of course, newspapers at the time were getting a little scared because this internet thing was becoming more accessible. So we were owned by Chicago Tribune, and so Chicago Tribune said, okay, we need an online newspaper. We need a website. So we became dailypress.com, and I became the marketing director the online director for dailypress.com. But the truth of the matter is we really didn't know what we were doing at that time. We didn't really know how to use the internet to make money. How do you monetize this thing? Remember the dot bombs? Nobody really knew what they were doing. But also, the directories were they were just online directories. They didn't have any strategy behind them. But Google got smart, and Google came up with an algorithm that would rank sites according to popularity, how popular they were, and how relevant they were to the keyword that you used, that the user used. They never told us what that algorithm was, but we know that it exists. We know that it is, we know a few things about it through reverse engineering, things that we can do to influence where we rank on this page, but we don't know the entire algorithm. We also, yes, Google and the other search engines, I refer to Google because they're the largest, but they have given us a few tips, and there are a few things that we know, SEO strategists. They have realized what to do, how we can get our sites ranked without paying. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight, some strategies. We'll talk about the pages a little bit, but first we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about what's free, the organic search. And so anyway, they came up with this algorithm, and this algorithm contains also another algorithm within it that is called the page rank. It's a metric within that algorithm that determines how popular your site is. That doesn't determine the ranking. The reason they call it page rank is because Larry Page came up with it. But basically, it measures popularity. So the page rank measures how popular you are, and that's very, very important that your site has a high page rank. And that influences how well you rank on this page. Okay. Now, what I want to do is explain to you how search engines work. Now, they have this algorithm, and what happens now is Google will send out their bots. They call them bots or spiders to crawl the web. Actually, they call theirs Google bots, and they send them out and they crawl the web looking for new, fresh information. They love fresh information. That's why you can't just leave your site stagnant. You need to always update and give fresh content because they're looking for things that are new. And so when they find this new information, they index it according to their algorithm, the one that we don't really know. They index it and then they produce it. When someone searches for certain keywords, when I go in and put in certain keywords, using that algorithm, they will pull indexed information that they feel matches the keywords that are in there. And if it's my site, if it's Track Shack's site that they have indexed based on those keywords, then it will come up first because they think it's the most relevant and most popular for those particular keywords. Okay, that's how it works. That's why keywords are so important, the words that you're using. Now, let's go back. Okay, I talked about how it works. Let's go back and we're going to talk about, as I said, there's something called on-site SEO and off-site SEO. On-site SEO are things that we can actually do directly, and this is how we determine relevance. These are things that impact how relevant we look to the search engine. So one thing we need to do, to make sure your site is registered. You don't really need to worry about that because if you put up a new site and new information, they typically recognize it within a few days. But you can also go to Google's site and you can actually register your website. But one of the main things you need to do is select the right keyword. Words. Track Shack did not just randomly go running shoes Orlando. I'm sure they put a little research into that. You can go to sites like Google has a site called Google AdWords. We're going to talk about that a little bit later on tonight because the site is actually for those who are purchasing ads, but it has a tool on it that anyone can use, so we use it for SEO as well. You can go to Google AdWords and you can see how popular you can see what kind of search volume a particular word gets. For example, how many people search for running shoes Orlando? You put running shoes Orlando and they'll tell you the search volume. So you can know, you want to know what users are using, what words they're using. You don't necessarily want to use the words you're using. And I'll give you an example. I was looking for running shoes for a friend. My friend has very, very flat feet. So I said, there are running shoes out there for people with flat feet. So I looked in there. I Googled running shoes for flat feet. Now, me as a user, I did not know the proper terminology for flat feet. And so what came up are, I got several sites, Track Shack included, because I think I put Orlando in there. But they talked about overpronating. And that's not a term that I knew to use initially. And then I continued to search using those words, but initially I just put flat feet in there. So if they had only optimized their site for overpronate instead of flat feet, they would have missed out on a potential customer who did not know the proper terminology. And so that's what you have to do. You have to brainstorm your keywords. You have to come up with a number of keywords that you think users would use to find your site, and then you need to take and go to friends, go to family members and ask them, if you were going to this website, what words would you use to find the information? If you were looking for the product that we sell or the service that we offer, what words would you use? Not necessarily what the company uses, because you need to think like a user. And those are the keywords that you will use. And those keywords you will find are extremely important, because when those bots are out crawling around, they're looking for, they find keywords, keyword phrases, and they're looking in the body of your site, looking in the content. And believe it or not, the algorithms are so smart, though. If you're just doing what we call keyword stuffing, you're just stuffing a few words in there, doesn't work. They'll recognize that you're trying to trick the system, and they will either lower your rank on the results page, or they'll remove you completely. So you don't want to do that. We call that black hat SEO, because you're trying to manipulate the whole practice of or the whole process. So you don't want to do that. You want it to appear natural. But you do want to include your keywords. Now, as you come up with these keywords, you want to include them in your title, you want your heading, you want to include them in the body. But make sure it flows and it's natural. It doesn't look like you're just trying to trick the system. I did give you a few videos that will help you go to Google AdWords help you to determine the best keywords for your site. And this isn't a one-time effort. You may have to go back and do this a few times. And maybe it works today and it doesn't work tomorrow. That's just the way this works. It's an ongoing practice. Now, the next thing that you need to do is you need to make sure you have the proper meta tags. One meta tag is the title tag, and I'll show you where you find that. Let's go back to Chrome. When I put in Track Shack, let's see what came up under Track Shack. It just says Track Shack. Let's look at Fleet Feet Sports Orlando, Florida Running Store Races. That's their title tag, and I'll show you where that's found. I'm going to try this. Now, I can't always find when I go to the actual source code. It's so tiny. I just don't even need to go to their site. Oh, yes, it is. Okay, this is how you find, there are a couple of ways that you can find the code. The source code, where the title tag is, you can do a few things. You can right click on it. Let's see if this one works. And it says, right click down here in the corner. I don't see it. Oh, so that's my page. Let's go back. Try it again. Let's do this. Let's go with something I know so I don't waste your time, something I've done before. Let's just do CNN. Okay? We go to the site. First of all, if you look, when you see CNN, it says CNN.com, breaking news, U.S. world weather, blah, 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 blah. Okay? Now, when we go to the actual site, watch this. You click on source code. View page source. This is a shortcut. Boom, you get to it. Another way, and this is the code, and don't let this scare you because you don't have to do much with it. We're just going to find the title tag, and I'll show you where it is. Another way to get there is to go to View, if you're in Chrome. The browsers are different. But if you go to Chrome, you go to Developer, View Source Code. Boom, you get all this source code. And embedded in there, you'll see something called, in this case, it's usually to the left side here, but in this case, it's all the way over here to the right. You'll see title. I just saw it. Where did it go? I have to put my glasses on. Here it is. It says title to the right here, breaking news, U.S. world weather, entertainment, and video news. And you can see a title, meta. That's a meta tag called the title tag. That is extremely important, and not just for your home page. That's what it might say for your home page. But maybe you have a page in there that talks about something. I'll give you an example. My daughters have a site, H&B Gurus. It's Health and Beauty Gurus. And the home page might be optimized for health and beauty. And then it just may have keywords regarding health and beauty and the name. But there's a page in there, like they wrote about turmeric and how turmeric is so has so many health benefits. And so that page, they would want to optimize for turmeric, because then someone's searching not necessarily for health and beauty, they're searching for turmeric, benefits of turmeric. So health benefits of turmeric. So that page then might say health benefits turmeric / health and beauty gurus, the name of the company. So anyway, that's not to be taken lightly. I don't want to inundate you with too much information, but it's important to understand what the title tag is and that it has the keywords in, and it's not just for the home page. You optimize every page of the site, because when these bots go out looking and crawling the web looking for information, they are not looking at your website. They're looking at each page of your website. And that's important, that each page has this information. But your title tag is extremely important, and it needs to have lots of keywords in it. But don't make it look like a keyword stuffing. There's only a certain number of keywords allowed. Let's go back now to another thing that you can do. Your description tag, I don't know why I didn't mention it here. Your description tag, that's what comes underneath after you have the title. When you're searching for something, there's a brief description that helps me decide if I want to actually click on your site. That's important too, because the users want to know what's in that site before I actually take the time to click on it. The description tag, that's an alt tag as well. That's very, very important. But the alt tags are important because These bots that I'm talking about, are these spiders, they cannot see images. They don't see graphics. They don't see photos. They see words. So if you're optimizing your site for running shoes and you have a lot of pictures of shoes on there, if you want that to work towards optimizing your site, you want your keyword is if it's running shoes, each one of those sites then each one of those photos should have an alt tag. That tag describes what's in the picture. So it then the bot will recognize that the content of that page has something else on it. I mean, they'll see the alt tag. As I said, they don't see the image, they see the alt tag. So make sure you have alt tags. Last but not least, I'm going to mention this because it's very, 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 very important. A lot of students complain. I have had students complain. Why do you guys take so many points off of spelling, grammar, and punctuation? Why is that so important in this class? One, because we communicate using written communication, so it's super, super important. But search engines will penalize you for poor grammar, poor spelling, poor punctuation, simply because it makes your site look spammy. So it doesn't look legitimate, and they think it might be a bogus site. So then you could lose ranking simply because of that. But also you lose credibility with a user like me, because if I go to a site and it has loaded with errors, I'm out because you have lost credibility instantly. And I don't trust you. I'm not giving you money if you don't take the time to create a site without errors. So that's very important that you understand that. So that's enough. That's just a little bit of, those are just a few on-site things that we can do. They're the direct things that we have control over, and they create relevance. They make our site look relevant to those keywords, that we're connecting to those keywords, so the bots recognize us and associate us, and we get a higher ranking because of that. But I said relevance wasn't the only thing. The other thing that's important is popularity. How popular are you? So popularity means, are others coming? Are a lot of people coming to our site? That's important, but not just that. Who's linking to us is important. Natural inbound links coming in to us, linking um, into our site. For example, you have a news site, a credible site like a news site or an education site, and they have uh, links uh, into our site. That's important. Backlinks from anyone, and when we say backlinks, any site that links to us has a bearing on our ranking, and we call those backlinks. Backlinks should always be relevant and reputable. It's so important that you have quality sites linking to you. It can actually hurt you if sites that of poor quality are linking to you, because it looks then like you're trying to do a little black hat SEO. You're trying to trick the system. You may, because there are link farms. There are companies out there who you pay them $500, they'll give you 500 backlinks, and they create bogus sites. So you can have like all of your friends and family link to you, because it has to be relevant, it has to be quality. So you need to know who's linking to you. But backlinks is a huge way, provides a huge opportunity for you to rank high on the SERP. So you want to make sure you do an analysis and you find out who's linking to you. And the way you do that, there are a lot of sites out there, Majestic SEO, SEMrush.com. We'll talk about a number of those sites that will give you all the information. They'll tell you what keywords your site and your competitors' sites are using. They will tell you who's linking to you and who's linking back to your competitors. Because if you see, okay, their backlinks consist of uh, large companies or small companies or familiar companies to you, you may want to actually contact those companies and say, hey, have you considered me? So there are things that you can do. But you need to know if there are sites and their links linking back to you, linking to your site, and they are of poor quality, you want to have those removed. And there's a way to do that. Yeah, you just Google it, how to remove backlinks. There's a protocol for that, and what you have to do is you have to keep a log, and you have to contact them, shoot them an email or whatever, and then you have to let Google know that you've tried to remove those so they're not held against you. But you need to know who's linking to your site. Um, And as I said, and one way that you can actually look, and some will argue that this doesn't work, but link, if you put in the search engine, you put link colon, and I use Full Sail as an example, but link colon and the URL, it should tell you who's linking to you. Or you can go to linkpopularity.com. They'll ask you for the URL, and they'll do the same thing, tell you who's linking back to your site. Or you can use some of these more elaborate sites, which will tell you not only who's linking, tell you about your backlinks, but they'll tell you everything else that you need to know as well. And then there are free ones, and then there's some paid ones. The paid ones, of course, will give you even more information about your site and everyone else's site, your competitor's site. So there's just a lot of information out there. But these are things that you can do. I would say the most important thing for off-site SEO is that you have backlinks. That's huge. Don't take that lightly. And it has to be, like I said, natural. It has to be a natural fit. So don't let companies fool you if they want to do something that's bogus or something that's unethical or trick the system in any way, because it would really hurt you. Okay, how well is your site optimized? Well, one way to find out how well your site is optimized is to go to a site called marketing.grader.com. Marketing.grader.com is by HubSpot, and it's free. And you just put it in there, and they'll give you a grade, and they'll tell you why. Oh, they'll say you're not optimized for mobile, you lose points. But this is good learning experience for you. You might want to go play with that just a little bit, and they'll look at your backlinks, it'll look at your keywords. But what you want to do is play with that a little bit, because next week we're going to do a competitor analysis, and we will have to use marketinggrader.com. Okay, so that's what we know about search engine optimization. How well are we optimized? That's the natural, that's the organic way of getting listed on the site. Let's talk about the unnatural way, the paid way. How do we do paid advertising? Well, if I can go back to my little story, as I said, Google came up with this algorithm back in 1998, and it was free. It's a great way of searching. It was free. They weren't making any money off of it because it was free. So they went back to the drawing board in 2000 and said, okay, now, how do we make money off of this? What do we do to make money? So in the year 2000, Google came up with a business model, a two-tier business model. And to make money now that they've become so popular. And the two-tier business model consisted of what we call, they introduced AdWords and AdSense. Now, AdWords, I mentioned earlier that we can go to AdWords for just to use a tool that they have, a keyword tool that'll tell you what are good, which keywords get the best volume. But the reason they put that tool out there is because that's for people who are buying ads. But anyone can use it, but it's for, and what Google AdWords is, Google AdWords is believe it or not, Google makes 90% of their income, revenue rather, comes from Google AdWords. And so the way this process works, I'm not going to go into it in a lot of detail, but basically you get to bid on words. So you win the bid, and you have a little budget. You say, my budget is $500. So then every time when Google finds a match for your words, they will, with content, they will show your ad until your money is based on the amount that you bid for the ad. And so they'll continue to show your ad, but each time that ad is clicked on, you pay. And every time you pay, you use up some of your budget. Now, the good thing about this is if the impression is on the site, like I see ads all the time, and they make an impression on my brain. I see it, I read it, but I don't click on it. So that owner has given me, they've gotten my attention. They didn't have to pay for that because I didn't click on the ad. You only pay if someone clicks. And that's why click fraud is going to be so important this week. So pay attention to that when you do your research. Think about this, what we're talking about. You only pay if someone clicks. So a lot of opportunity in this to get a lot of exposure for free, even if no one clicks on the ad. But if someone clicks, then you use up your budget. Okay? That's how Google AdWords works. And you create a campaign, and that's, That's how it works. Then this other branch of revenue, this other revenue stream for them is when you use Google AdWords, not only do they post your ads on the search engine results page, they also post it on other sites. And this is how that works because of Google AdSense. Now, Google AdSense is actually an opportunity for you and me if we want to make a little bit of money, if we want a little cut of that ad revenue. This is how it works. Google, I think I have a slide that will explain that a little bit. Google AdSense works like this. You can become an online publisher, an online publisher for Google, and they will distribute ads not only on the results page, but they distribute ads on sites that belong to their partners or their online publishers. And then if I have a nice site that's a robust site, then I can submit my site to Google, and Google will approve it, and then they will send me a code, and I embed that code, and I decide the location of that ad. And then Google starts serving ads to my site. Now here's the good thing about that. When someone clicks on it, if it's on my site, I get a cut of the revenue. So Google gets part of it, and I get part of it. So that's what Google AdSense is all about. I can make money, but also it gives the client more exposure because now not only are you your ad being seen on the results page, is seen now on the on other websites. And think about this when you write your discussion when you on retargeting, because it ties into all of this. All of this will make a lot more sense to you once you read that as well. Final note I'd like to leave you with regarding search engine marketing. It drives more new website traffic than any other online advertising method. It's huge. So as I said, it consists of organic search or SEO, but also paid. And you will learn a lot more about that in your upcoming courses. But for now, I hope you have a general understanding of how it all works together. And next week, we're going to talk about, now that we've talked about search engine marketing strategy, next week we're going to talk about some other strategy, content marketing strategy, affiliate marketing strategy, social media marketing strategy, email marketing strategy. So mobile marketing strategy. We're going to touch on those. And hopefully, as you progress through the program, you'll be able to refer back to that, and it will all come together to you for your final project. Thank you all so much for joining me. It's been a pleasure, and I will see you again next week. Take care.